Evil Dead the game is the newest installment to the multiplayer horror genre, and some say it's the grooviest one yet. With all the buzz surrounding the game and how tricky it can be to get a grasp of, I thought it would be useful to put together a beginner's guide to help out all of the new players. It should be noted that this guide is catered towards those playing Survivor, and if you guys enjoy this video, we can hopefully make a guide for all those demon players out there as well. If you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to check me out on Twitch, FallenRyan579_TV. I'm live right now, and make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Additionally, a huge shout out to Kike for helping me capture some footage and providing a few extra details on the game's mechanics. But without further ado, let's get started. To kick things off, we'll be talking about the objective of the game. A typical match for survivors is divided into 5 basic parts. These 5 parts are as follows: finding the map pieces, collecting the lost pages, collecting the Kandarian dagger, banishing the Dark Ones, and defending the Necronomicon. When you first spawn in, you'll be randomly dropped into one area on the map. The demon doesn't initially know where the survivors are located, so you'll have plenty of time to begin looting and searching for a piece of the map, which is your first objective. In the top right corner of your screen, you'll see text indicating where you can find the next piece of the map. And using this information, you can quickly move to your next location in order to find that piece of the map. When searching for a fragment of the map in a given location, the game will indicate when you are in close proximity to the fragment by displaying a red exclamation mark. As you collect each piece, you'll follow the same basic steps until all pieces have been collected. Once all 3 pieces of the map are collected by your team, you'll then have the option to move towards the lost pages or the Kandarian dagger. The 2 new objectives you have available do not have to be completed in any particular order. You can choose which you would like to complete first based on proximity, location, etc. Once you make your way to either the lost pages or the Kandarian dagger, you or someone on your team will need to head to the center of the objective to activate it. Once activated, at least one member of your team will need to stay inside the blue circle at all times in order for it to progress, but the more team members you have in the circle, the faster the objective will be completed. Of course, you'll be met by the demon attempting to block you from completing such objectives, so be prepared for a fight. You should typically rally your team together and collect these objectives as a unit, as the demon is strongest in 1v1 encounters, but struggles against a coordinated team. Once you have collected both the lost pages and the Kandarian dagger, the location of the Dark Ones will then be revealed to you and your team. It should be noted that even if you do locate the Dark Ones before the pages and the dagger have been collected, you won't be able to continue progressing until you have those items. Once your team rallies and heads to where the Dark Ones are located, you'll be entering the final stages of your match. Once you are within proximity of the Dark Ones, you can use the prompted active ability button to slowly start draining their health using the Kandarian dagger. The Dark One's health is divided into 3 bars, and upon completion of each bar, there will be a small cooldown period in which you are unable to continue draining the Dark One's health. This is a great time to take a second to reload, heal, and take out a few straggling deadites. Once all 3 bars have been depleted, the Dark Ones will vanish, revealing the Necronomicon in the center. Your final objective as a team is to protect the book from being destroyed by the forces of evil. The demon will be putting up a fight as this is their last stand before the survivors take the win, so make sure you're healing and providing support to your teammates as well. The end of the match is where the demon is most powerful, summoning all the units they can and usually putting a boss into play. Once you've protected the Book of the Dead, you've completed your final objective and secured a victory for you and your team. One of the most important aspects to survival within the world of Evil Dead is looting. You'll need to make sure you're gathering lots of meds, ammo, and weapons to ensure your survival. So let's take a look at some of the most important items to keep an eye out for. The most important item you'll want to be looking out for is a weapon. In Evil Dead, you can only carry 2 weapons at a time, one of those being a gun and the other being a handheld melee weapon. You'll find a variety of rarities attached to the weapons, and typically speaking, the higher rarity, the better. You'll want to make sure that you're grabbing as much ammo as you can, even if it doesn't fit your specific weapon type, as you can switch weapons later in the match or provide some ammo to teammates in need. Next, you'll need to keep an eye out for medication. The game has essentially 2 ways to regain health, those being Shemp's Cola and Amulets. Shemp's Cola will restore your health, while Amulets will restore your shields. It's important to be upgrading your shields and health throughout the match, but we'll cover more on that later. It's also important to note that you should have your flashlight on while looting different areas, as it will reveal loot that would not be discovered otherwise. Aside from the weapons, ammo, and meds, you'll also want to keep an eye out for supply crates and matchsticks, but we'll start with the latter. Matchsticks are a tool used to light fires around the map and greatly reduce your fear meter. This fear indication meter is found just under your health bar. Fear builds when you set off any of the demon's traps, when handling large groups of enemies, or even when staying in the dark for extended periods of time, especially when you're on your own away from teammates. You can quickly reduce your fear by lighting fires or lanterns around the map, but it can also be reduced more slowly by standing in well-lit areas such as under a streetlight. It is important to try and keep your fear level low when possible, as it helps minimize the effectiveness of a demon. If your fear is high enough that you become terrified, the demon can see your location and is capable of doing things that may hurt your team, such as possessing you and attacking your teammates. You'll know when you're terrified when the fear meter passes the white line indicated on the fear meter. Supply crates are crates that contain basic items such as weapons, and it's essentially what you would expect from a supply crate in any game. But supply crates also drop an item called Pink Fuck. What is Pink Fuck, you may be wondering?
Pink Fuck is a proprietary mix of liqueurs and spirits garnished with orange rind and nutmeg. Oh, and there's a shit ton of ketamine in it.
Pink F is a way to upgrade your character in the match, and each bottle of Pink F gives you 1 point to spend on a variety of upgrades, whether it be shields, fear, health, etc. And these upgrades can help to slightly buff your character throughout the match. It's important that you ping every supply crate that you see, as Pink F remains for other survivors even if you've collected it. So by pinging it, the rest of your team knows where to get some much needed upgrades. But be wary, if you know the demon has spent a good amount of time near a supply crate, it may be trapped with Ash's hand or mini Ashes. These traps do a bit of damage to the survivor that opens it, as well as greatly increasing their fear. Trapped crates do not drop a weapon, but still drop Pink F, so be sure to ping them after your scare. Additionally, after you collect the pages or dagger, the demons in all units will be exorcised from the area, and a supply crate will spawn in the center, so your team can get some good loot and Pink F before moving on in your journey to rid the world of evil. As you gather the loot, it's important to note a few key things you'll find around the map. These things being fires, altars, and cars. Fires, as we discussed, are locations in which you can quickly reduce your fear by using matchsticks to light a fire. Altars are locations where you can resurrect teammates who have died throughout the match. If a teammate goes down and you are not able to revive them in time before they die, they will leave behind their soul. You can simply go to the dead player's location and collect their soul, and after doing so, you can then locate an altar on the map and bring their soul there in order to bring your teammate back into the match. Cars are a form of transportation you can find all around the map in order to quickly get from one location to another, but be aware as the demon can see survivors on the map at all times while they're riding in a car. Additionally, the demon can possess a car in order to make things more difficult for the survivors. You typically don't want to use a car until you're quite a ways into the match, using it more as a tool to escape the demon or quickly get to the lost pages or Kandarian dagger before the demon is able to fortify those locations. In Evil Dead the game, there are a variety of ways to go about killing the army of the undead, and there are 3 basic things to know in terms of hand-to-hand combat. You're able to use a light attack, heavy attack, and a finisher. Light attacks are useful for building up stagger and for getting a quick hit in on the enemy. Heavy attacks are useful when dealing with larger groups of enemies and dealing large amounts of damage, but they do leave you open to being attacked, so use them resourcefully. Lastly, a finisher move is available when the enemy is staggered with moderate to low health, and the game will prompt this move with a red skull above the enemy's head and an active ability button to press. You are immune to damage while performing a finisher, making it a good move to get out of a tight spot or to finish off an enemy with some style. One last thing to cover in combat are the 3 types of enemies. The 3 types that the demon can spawn are basic, elite, and boss enemies. Basic units are enemies you'll find running around the map or being spawned from the demon portals and traps. Elite enemies are bulkier summoned units from the demon that have a bit more health and more power than basic units. Boss units can only be spawned after the match has progressed quite a bit and are the most powerful and devastating enemy type. Boss units are always controlled by the enemy player, have massive amounts of health, and can deal crippling amounts of damage with their powerful abilities. Once a boss spawns onto the field, your largest priority is to take them out quickly, and firearms tend to be particularly useful if you can maintain distance and land headshots while the boss is busy with a fellow teammate. The demon is able to possess any unit on the map if they have enough infernal energy, controlling that unit with increased health, damage, and the added benefit of being controlled by a human player rather than the AI. Excluding boss units, all units, including your teammates, will glow red when being controlled, so be sure to take them out quickly or get away as fast as you can. You'll typically start the match fighting basic units, with more formidable foes coming into play as the match goes on and the demon level increases. The last thing to note in our quick overview is the leveling up of characters and their abilities. Each character has a unique set of active and passive abilities to be used in your fight against the Deadites. As you play more with each character, you'll earn experience and skill points that you can use to fill out their skill tree, earning small buffs and gradually unlocking stronger passive abilities. As you play the game, you'll also earn spirit points, which can be spent on any character to increase their level and earn skill points regardless of how much you've used them in matches. Every character and class has a unique set of attributes, abilities, and playstyles, so be sure to try out a few that suit your needs and the needs of your team. So with all that said and done, we've reached the end of our very brief guide to the world of Evil Dead. Hopefully this video helped you to make sense of the various mechanics within the game, and if you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down below. Like this video if you want to see more Evil Dead coverage, including a guide to playing Demon, more specific guides to anything I mentioned here, and a breakdown of new content as the game continues to grow. Thank you guys so much if you made it to the end of this video, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.